Hello, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey there.
So
Oh,
we
welcome to a
got,
full version. Last week was kind of
yeah, last week was fine. We filled in just fine. So
yeah.
now we got Marty back from Disney. You survived.
Yep, I was out checking out the fireworks show. Was just about starting at this time last week. It was awesome. Happily ever after, that's what they call it.
Yeah, you can see those from our houses. You don't really have to go through all the the
Oh yeah.
trouble.
Takes out all the fun though,
Yeah, no,
But you know
the
the
fun is
uh
not being in the crowd.
for real.
the good news is back like 6 years ago when I first experienced it, it's a spectacular fireworks show, I must say, because they play these Disney show tunes, with it and all, and it's very emotional. But anyway, the first year I saw it, my son and daughter-in-law both were like interns at Disney. So we stood out there and just watched like all the rest of the peasants did. But this time they both are like management at Disney. So we got VIP passes in there. So
Ooh.
so we had like waiters and seats and things like that. So it was much more pleasant this time for sure.
That's nice. Disney in style.
That's pretty cool, Marty.
Yeah, yeah, it was
All
it's
right.
an amazing, it's amazing the work that they put into that kind of thing every single day. They do it every night at dark.
All right, so we got Dusty here to talk about Antelope Canyon in Arizona, right?
Yeah, Page, Arizona.
Yeah, I kept thinking it was Utah, and I was like,
It's
nope.
so close to the border though.
It's
I mean,
okay, so I'm not
couple
that
minutes,
far
yeah.
off. And then Chris Stangle here is going to talk about the first annual Florida Death Race. So, want to get into that one first? Chris, you want to tell us about the race?
Sure. It's a great course. I was really excited for this race just because the Wild Florida 50K has been one of my favorite Florida races, and this is kind of along the same route. It's along the Swanee River up in North Florida. So basically, the last, I don't know, 15, 20 miles of this course are the middle section of Wild Florida 50K. The only thing you miss is the start the start of the 50K until you cross the Swanee River. You don't run that portion. And then there's I think it's a 10K loop in the Stephen Foster Park that you do to finish the 50K that also was not part of this race. So it's somewhere around 20 miles or so in the middle, or in the middle of the 50K, that is the end of the Florida Death Race. So that course is always super fun because there's lots of little ravines and rolling hills and all these crazy nuances that we're not so used to here in Florida. But I tell you, it was so much more of a challenge than I expected. Once you've run 50 miles to get there, it was significantly harder. So but from the start to that place, it was a great course. There was a lot of reroutes that kind of take away from the Florida Trail a little bit, and no fault of the race directors at all. Just the destruction that's happened from the hurricanes there last fall. There's been a lot of reroutes. There was so much down on the trail that they just moved the trail. And the trail is not a trail yet. It's almost like you're running through open fields.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stabilization and such that not necessarily used to. So feet and ankles and hips took a toll pretty early. So you had to be pretty tough to fight your way through it. But it was a great race. It started super early. It was a 4
Yeah,
a.m.
that was
start.
a 4 a.m. start. I think that's the
Yeah,
first Florida race ever to start at 4 a.m.
yeah. And the worst part was we stayed in an Airbnb in Lake City, so we had about a 30-minute drive to the finish line to get on the shuttle to go to the start line. So we got up at midnight, left our Airbnb at 1 a.m., got up there about 1:30. Around 2 o'clock, we were told that the shuttle had broken, or the buses had broken, or the bus, because it was a small race, had broken down, and we were all going to have to carpool to the start line. So we were up 2 hours before we needed to be. But luckily, our group had 2 cars there. So we took my buddy Leo's car to the start line and, stood around in the cold for a little while before we started. But it was an interesting start to the day. A lot of grumpy people to begin the day. But the course itself and the race itself was great. 8 stations, all of our Florida volunteers stepped up big time and took care of everybody out there. So it was a great experience. I'd have to say, Wild Florida still by far would be my choice of the 2 for that area. But again, for a challenge, it's definitely a very, very challenging course for Florida, especially. It's a very tough one. I put it up there with some of the hardest ones that I've done down here, maybe the hardest, barring the super hot races. I haven't done Lake to Ocean yet, so that's kind of on the list to compare it to. But that's something I can't speak on.
What would you end up having for vert total?
I'd have to look. I think it was like somewhere around 2,500 feet or something like that.
Wow, that's impressive for Florida.
Yeah, it does roll, and most of it comes in, like I said, in the last third. So it feels like more.
That's not. I mean, John Holmes is about 1,100 over 50K. I thought that was impressive, just on the section of Croom that they have it as. So
yeah, I'll have to look at it again, and I'll kind of confirm those numbers. But I'm pretty positive it's over 2,000. I think it was close to 2,500.
Wow, that's impressive for Florida. For what was it, 74 miles, so just over 100K. So that's
yeah. It ended up being like right around 72. I think I was 71 and a half. Most people were right at 72. And
where did you hold your little stake?
I kind of learned a trick from somebody at GDR, and I made them for myself and both of my runners. But we cut a pool noodle just like the right size, and then took a notch out of it. So you shove it in there and duct tape it and cram it down in the bottom of your pack, and you don't even know it's there.
Oh, that's all right. So we got the tips and tricks for everybody.
Yeah.
It's the cheat code. They'll probably ban pool noodles after this because you have no idea it's in your pack.
I saw someone's recap where they said theirs dug into their back for the entire race.
I mean, a pound of steel that's pokey and on many angles is not something you want to have in your pack. That's for sure. So, I can't remember. I think I bubble wrapped or something at GDR when I ran it, but I saw somebody with a pool noodle and I was like, if I ever do this again, that's what I'm going to do.
So you basically couldn't do it with just with a handheld. I mean, you got to have some type of pack on you.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't have a crew for this race. Evie, Malia had a track meet, so Evie was stuck behind to go to the track meet. So, and there was some lengthy segments in there too. And it wasn't hot, but it got a little warm. I think the longest we went between Full Aid, we went 14 miles, and there was a water stop like 4 miles into that. So the longest we went was 10 miles from a water stop to Full Aid.
Yeah.
But it was fairly late in the race. I think it was like 40-ish miles into the race. So that was a very long 10 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. So look at the result. It looks like the first guy, he had a pretty good lead on everybody.
Oh, he was like 2 hours. Yeah.
It was almost a 2 hour. Lucas Burr from Brookhaven, Georgia.
Yeah, he's a mountain runner. He's very, very fast.
Yeah, he moved really well in 11 hours, 45 minutes. Then you got Zach Spino. I'm trying. It was Zach was at Death at Dupree. He ran well down there.
He's a speedster. He hasn't really run any long races, but we spent some time together out there. You know, he's got some sub 4 hour 50Ks. He's a fast guy.
Yeah.
And we chatted a little bit, and I could tell he was kind of shadowing Joey and I for quite a while just to kind of get a strategy. I think he was with us for about the first 50K, maybe the first half of the race, and then he took off.
That's cool. That's cool. And then for third place, we're gonna pull up video of the third place. I don't know. Anybody want to build this up? Who the two runners were?
Marty
Joe-
had it.
Oh, go ahead, Marty.
RunFluent guy Joe Patore and Clay McNamee.
All right, let's see if we can pull it up right here. If you're watching, all right.
Did I say his last name right, Chris?
Patare.
Patore, Joe Patore.
So this is it's going to play a couple times, but this is for third place right here. Is Joey on the left? I think that's
Yes. Yes.
okay. Holy moly!
I can't even tell. How did they tell?
Yeah, I think it was just Joey did like the little torso lean, like he was sprinting a 100-meter dash, and that's how they called it.
Oh, wow.
You know, if you look at the results in Ultra Sign Up, they're 6 seconds apart. There's no way in hell they're 6 seconds.
No.
No.
Yeah, I was laughing. They wrote it. I don't know how that happened, but I think it was just somebody writing on the whiteboard because they don't use chip timing at all. And it took them 6 seconds to write each name or something. But,
Right.
yeah, it was definitely like 100th of a second. If that.
Yeah, that was not even a second for sure.
Yeah.
That finish line adrenaline pumping
Yeah.
there.
That's like
Yeah.
horse race photo finish.
Joey's been running really well.
Yeah, he's tough. He's got you know, he's a very busy human being, and he squeezes in his workouts when he can. But we all ran together for the first. All three of us were together through about 50 miles, and then that guy caught up with us and started pulling away closer to the 100K mark. And I told Joey, I was like, "You got to go after him," because I didn't have it in me. And it took him the whole race to catch up with him. And then they ran together for a few miles, and then neither one of them truly knew the course or how it worked, and they turned the corner and there was the finish line, so they just both just took off sprinting.
That's
All right,
awesome.
so Chris, quick question: where was it? At what? Do you know what mile it was when you told Joey he needed to go stay with that guy?
It was at an aid station because that guy came in. I'm trying to think of where we were. It may be like 52, to be honest, and it took him closer to 100K to catch up to him. I think it took him almost 10 miles to get to him, and then they rode that last 10 together, I think.
Well, that's what he put. That's what, the only reason I asked, because he put an hour. I wanted to see how fast he put an hour up.
Yes,
he left you.
yes, I knew. I mean, and that's kind of par for the course for Joey, just because he's new to the ultra world.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years ago, I was the first time I started coaching him, and he did Leadville for his first 100 and went sub 24. So we already knew he was a freak.
Asshole. What an asshole.
Yeah, right. But then, you know, he kind of wanted to learn his own thing. He did a couple of races on his own, and then I paced him for Forgotten Florida, not this past year, but the year before. And then the same thing, I paced him to 100K and then kind of took the leash off, and he did great there. So I don't think he's missed the podium since. So it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be impressive to watch him. Watch him. I mean, Florida's starting to get some really good runners popping up, and so I'm no longer a competitor in the state of Florida.
No,
you're relevant, Jeff.
We'll talk later. We'll talk about my race later.
First generation, people are following your lead, Jeff.
A funny story.
Well, go ahead.
Sorry. I said a funny story about Joey is our first streaming, I think, was at Last of the Falaskins.
Yeah, Last of the Falaskins.
Joey got the assist there, and that thing could have took us into Monday very easily if he didn't have previous engagement that he was committed to
I
because he
forgot
was
about that.
fresh. He was
Yeah,
fresh, and he had
I think that's when
to
I first heard his name pop up was with a last of Alaskan. So, and then Chris was 6th. Jeremiah Cohen out of Atlanta 7th. Robert Dutton. Where do we go all the way down? The first female was Lindsay Liebarger out of Jacksonville, Florida. Young girl at 28. She ran 1643. And then second.
There wasn't a lot of female finishers, I don't think, was there? I don't have it up.
Second, and she is in the chat tonight, Katie Jenkins. Congratulations, Katie.
Hey, Katie, shout out
Good
to
job,
Katie. That's
Katie.
a distance PR for her too.
Yeah, nice job. And then who else was on the Kristen? I can't even say that name, from Orange Park, Jacksonville area.
Radzilovich, Chris
There you go.
Radzilovich.
She was 3rd.
Yeah, I think there were only 4 female finishers, if I'm not
Actually,
mistaken.
you're right. No, I think she was 3rd, and she was right at the end. She was the last female finisher. So no, you had, and then you had a few DNFs in there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask Chris, if there were a bunch more females at the start.
It was a pretty small field. I mean, somebody said they thought it was like 80 people, but I'm pretty sure it was closer to like 50 or 60 from what I could see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's DNSs involved, but I haven't looked at results. But
looks like it was 8 females total.
yeah, it was a small race and very tough. It was actually pretty cool to have like so many solid runners at a smaller event, because we had some people out there doing a lot of work. So
yeah. And Nicole's in the chat. I think she was up to her crew, and Lucas Vidal. Looks like Lucas had a bad day out there. I think he just had a little nagging injury. But he still.
Luke always gets the job done. I mean, he runs 200 miles a couple weeks ago, and then so he's just always out there just enjoying the miles. I don't think this was a goal for him. Right? He had a great run. And she was kind of my assistant MVP because Evie wasn't around. So every time I'd show up to a drop bag, she was there to help me. So I have to give her kudos for being my backup. We owe them. If she can ever not make it to a race, we got to crew him.
Yeah.
It's even crazier because the week before that, Luke was at Lost 118 and put up, I think, over 70 miles with the flu.
Yeah.
So within 3 weeks, he did all of that, and he just kept chugging away. And Nicole's awesome out there.
But it's okay. He has another race next week, and
right. And the week after,
just a 33-hour.
Yeah, I think he's running. Well, I think he's up in the air about the 2 prairies. Coming up.
He's coming up to bootlegger too.
He's coming. Nicole. He needs to rest up. We need him fresh for bootlegger up there. So we're coming up. We're going up to Georgia to kick butt. So we have a good crew coming up to bootlegger.
I want to run that race, but it's always on Malia's birthday weekend, so it makes it tough.
Yeah, have a nice camping birthday.
Can't miss that 2 years in a row, right?
No, I missed it last year, crew and Cassie, so maybe next year.
Yeah. No, I think that would be. I look forward to. I hope we get to go up there every year. So I think it will be fun.
It's full park, good people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great people.
Yeah. Well,
all right,
cool.
so you want to move on to Arizona?
You want to go to Arizona, or you want to you want to do Save the Daylight?
We should probably do that Arizona first, and then because
there's a lot to unpack from Save the Daylight. That was amazing.
Yeah, just in case we go long on Save the Daylight. So
all right. So Dusty was out at Antelope Canyon. What distance did you run out there?
So I signed up for the 50 miler, but the way that they do that race, knowing that it's challenging, anytime you go over 50K, you get a finish for either 50K, 70K, or 50 miles. And I actually pulled out at 50K with my 50K finish. I had done long play the weekend before, and next week I have Cape Fear. So Cape Fear is one of my goal races. And then I have Salton Sea coming up in April. So I wasn't going to keep going. I had pulled something in my calf and said, if I keep going for this last 18 miles, which would have been the easiest 18 miles of the course because you just kind of go around Page at that point, I would have ended up missing one of my goal races. And that was kind of an agreement between my partner, Pam Film, and I before we went to that race. So I just went ahead and pulled out and got my 50K finish.
Sounds like you're building a resume for another race.
I don't know. I will see. Maybe someday when I grow up.
Sounds like you're putting up a really good resume for Badwaters.
Yeah, there's some really big shoulders there. So I got a long ways before I can even talk about that on paper.
Right.
Yeah.
So are
Well,
you
that's
doing
what
the 51 miler or the 50K at Cape Fear?
51.
All right. So you get to, I ran that 2 years ago, and the tip there is you got to be fast enough to beat the high tide,
Beat the tide.
or you're
Yeah.
running into soft sand.
I got
Well, I wanna
to sort of
hear-
test it out with the Cape Fear Marathon. The first one was in October, and it's an annual event now
Okay.
that Chris Kosman puts on. So it's basically a half of the 51. You go through and you have to beat the tide twice because there's 3 loops around the island, and a couple of folks right close to me fell into the water. You get salt water up into your kit, and it's not very fun.
Yeah.
No, I
Especially
want to
when
hear
you're,
about those last few miles. I want to hear about the rappelling on the wall.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So rappelling is like a crazy term because you think of like a 90-degree angle, and it definitely wasn't 90, but it was certainly like a 70-degree angle. It was really steep. So I can kind of start like at the beginning of the course. So you have to travel out there if you're from the East Coast, and we're all flatlanders. I had no idea. I signed up just to kind of keep Pam company on the course because she's a year out from a broken leg, and that's a pretty beastly course to go try to finish, So we fly out, my flight gets delayed. I have to get there late. Then there's a blizzard that shuts down I-17, and then you have to drive right through Flagstaff to get out to Page. So I'm driving north, and I find out that the interstate is closed. So turns into like an 8.5-hour trip. So I pulled into Page at 2:30 in the morning, and the check-in was at 4 a.m. And I was like, you know what? If I go to sleep, I'm not going to make the race. So I'm just going to take a shower, get dressed, throw my lube, and do my feet, and let's just go. So I got all kitted up and went to check in, met Pam at check in, and stood around in the cold for an hour, kind of woke me up. And we started the race. And this is actually a really good picture. Those ladders so it's 5,600 feet at the end of the elevation, and you're just kind of constantly going up and down between like 4,000 feet and 5,600 feet between the desert floor, the top of the rims of these slot canyons, and then there's some like mountainous areas that you're running along these tilted rock faces on. So the trail takes a really weird mix between like single track desert trail, and then you're just running on rock and these little like angled sheer faces. But there's probably 40 of those ladders on the course that you go up and down at any given time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's intense. And then there was some folks getting stuck because there were spots in the canyons that they're not meant for guys that are decent size. And there was a few of me out there. I'm like 230 pounds, and we're just kind of scrunched up going down these ladders, getting into these canyons. So they call
Well, and
it
I heard sometimes you had to wait like 30 minutes.
That was the worst part. I bet for Pam and I, we weren't running fast. There were some real burners out there that got ahead, probably because they didn't want to get a bottleneck. But we probably spent an hour in total waiting at some of these choke points,
Just
because
waiting in
people would
line.
clog.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think there was something like 300 runners out there. So in the morning, there's a good picture of everybody's headlamps, and it just looks like a stream of light leaving the start. And it's a pretty cool picture. I think it was on Facebook. But yeah, so the Via Ferrata that they put on the website, there's actually like 4 different varieties of it. So on a lot of the tilted rock faces, there's like pole and cable where you can kind of walk down and hold the cable. There's ladders, and then there's actual iron stairs, and just layers and layers of these in some of these canyons. And had to be probably 10 or 15 sets of them. The smallest one 4 feet, but the biggest one, you're like 200 feet climbing up iron stairs just to get out of these slot canyons that you've been running in. And when you're not on
Beautiful.
that, yeah, it's so gorgeous. And then when you're not on that, it's all sand. So it's just exciting to talk about because it was really beautiful. the spot where everybody keeps asking about, because everyone's asking about the same spot, you come up and there's this maybe 200-foot down like cliff. It's about 70-degree tilt. So if you were to fall, you're going down really hard and really fast. And, you know, you're not going to just drop and hit the bottom. You're going to roll all the way down and hit everything on the way. So there's a crevice off to the right, and it's like barely wide enough for me to fit through. And it's probably maybe 400 or 500 yards. And there's all these little boulders and like little sand traps that you have to navigate through to get through that. And it's probably a 25-degree angle. So it's the safe path if you want to take that one.
Yeah.
The fast path is this 70-degree rope that's hanging from one iron anchor, just kind of waving in the wind. And you go hand over hand backwards to get down this cliff face. I guess you could do it forwards, but I like my face too much. I didn't want to fall. So I just went backwards and just kind of hand over hand. There's a few loops tied into it in case you get stuck. You know, you can sit there and rest for a minute on a loop, but
That's where we need a live stream.
yeah. And if you look at the average finish times on Brooksy.com for Antelope Canyon, like it's almost 3 hours longer for the average finish times this year, because the race got all these extra permits for protected Navajo land that has all these really cool and really hard challenges on them.
Yeah.
And it was worth it. It was worth it for them to get the permits, but it made the race super intense. But I think that was the draw. Like,
so definitely not a PR race.
Yeah, no, I was not going to PR there. So there were some fast people that had some 25-30 minute miles there because of all the climbing and
Oh yeah,
you start factoring in the wait times. But yeah, it was beautiful. The temperatures in the morning started at like 17 degrees, and then you're climbing and freezing and sweating at the same time. So you're getting cold. And, you know, you thinking about taking your jacket off, all of a sudden you're on the desert floor and it's 85 degrees. So you have to figure out where you're going to stuff your stuff and peel your layers off. And then you climb again and the sun starts going down and it's, you know, 20 degrees again.
Yeah.
So the clothes were coming on and off and they're wet, but the aid stations were amazing. They were stocked. The staff for the race was as good as I've ever seen anywhere.
It's destination races, right?
It's vacation races.
Vacation races. Yeah, sorry. Destinations
Vacationraces.com.
Candace's. Vacation races. Yeah.
It's funny. The official results actually show me finishing the 50 miler in like 12 hours. And it shows that I had a third place male masters finish. That did not happen. I did my 50K in like 9 hours, but
you hung around that timing mat just long enough.
Yeah, called it at 50K, and I actually got into the aid station at like 28 or 29 miles. That's where I told Pam, I was like, hey, listen, I can't risk my other races. We had this conversation before the race. I got to call it. And then this guy, Shane, who works for the race, comes up. He's like, dude, go hit your 50K because you'll get your medal. And I was like, oh, heck. All right. So I just kind of run out, get my 50K. And he's like, all right, come on back. And you could see me. There's like a 50K mark down in the desert. So I came back and waited for a few hours out there in the truck to get taken back to town. But I guess they have these like globes up on poles that register everybody's chips, and that's how they do the timing. So on the route back to town, that's what picked up my chip and got me the 50 mile in the official finish. So Brooksy's going to update the results, but yeah, I wish. Pam pushed on and got her finish, which that's brutal for somebody who broke their leg a year ago and has been rehabbing it and training. Yeah. So she's a soldier.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I know a lot of people have that race on their bucket list. Just for the scenery. So
yeah,
it's definitely worth it. I'll do it again for sure. Probably next year.
They're going to go out to and enjoy the course, not push on the course, and just have a good time.
Yeah,
it's funny. Go ahead.
We push hard, but it's like the course is so beautiful, and there's just so much like up and downhill that it makes you want to run and it makes you want to push because it's just so pretty. And most of the day was freezing cold, so it was easier to push than it is on a summer day here in Florida. But yeah, you can't, if you get an opportunity to go, you can't miss it. I'll be back more than once.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I was just in one of the pictures you sent me. In the picture is like 5 other people taking pictures.
Right, yeah. And if you zoom in on some of those photos, the ones that look really big and or even like just like a cliff and you can't really identify anything, zoom in a little bit, you'll see some dots. Those are people. That's how high up these cliffs are.
Wow.
So when you're talking about, oh yeah, it's 300 feet or 400 feet, like it's not a joke. And you can see some of these trails and the inclines are like 50, 60 degrees down these rock faces, and you're just running on this trail that's only marked with pebbles,
Awesome.
basically.
All right. Glad you had a good time.
It was awesome.
Glad you're safe enough to get your next race. So that's good.
You only get a couple of weeks off, or if that.
Yeah, not much time off, but it'll be worth it. That's another destination race there too. So Cape Fear is beautiful. Bald Head Island is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question, Dusty.
Yes, sir.
So when I was looking into doing the 100 last year, maybe it's like all of the scenic part is in like the first 50 miles,
Yep.
and then it's like a loop around the town of Page. Did you said something about new permits? Did they extend that second half, or is it still the same way?
So they actually didn't have 100 this year because they got new permits for some extra protected Navajo land down south of Page, but they didn't get the permit for the full 100. So 50 miles was the biggest race they offered for this year, but it was the same format. The hardest portion was the first 50K, maybe 40 miles, where you run down south in the slot canyons on the south side of Page. And then the last third or so of the race, you're basically making a loop around Page and coming into the finish line hot. So it definitely, if you make it past the first 50K and you're not injured, just keep pushing, because it's a much easier, much flatter race at that point.
That's nice. Yes, they have new owners. I know that company has new owners.
Yeah.
So
Vacation races?
yeah.
I did Bryce Canyon a couple of years ago. That's one of their races too.
I thought, Bryce and Zion.
Bryce and Zion, yep. And I think Bryce and Zion still both have 100-milers. I think this is the only one that lost their 100.
Yeah. So I know where I saw it. Simon, Running with Simon, had Antelope Canyon. He ran it last year, so he has a video of it.
Yep.
On that.
He does Zion, I think, every year. He loves that race.
You're referring to Zion, where you run around, you go out and run, and then you come back and finish up running around the town. To finish up that race, I think there's like a 10-mile loop around town to finish up your stuff.
Yeah, I think they're both like that too. I feel
are
like
they both?
I think that's kind of a theme of their races, is they like to get the town involved and, have the finish somewhere at a sports complex right there in town, or some place where they can have so the race, the aid stations, and then like the pre-running activities, the running expo, all that stuff is really amazing and gets you into the buzz and the feel of being a part of the race. And then after the race, they have live music, they have a recovery tent, like multiple recovery tents on this baseball field, so you can go in and just kind of break bread with everybody and get your meal ticket given to them. They give you food all day. Like they were well stocked and super generous and very helpful. People taking care of people's feet. Just it was a really nice experience.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for Save the Daylight?
Save the Daylight. So
Jeff's got part one.
Two of us in here were out there for it. So one was attempting to run it, and the other one was crewing. So Save the Daylight down south in Englewood. First off, it wasn't a bad race. Not at all. Unsure about the race directors down there. Like they weren't too visible.
And Justin was great.
Justin was great at timing. I felt like
he was pretty much in charge, I think.
he was pretty much in charge, but I think that there was a couple of guys down there, and they didn't put on a bad race. I mean, the course was marked. You didn't need a well-marked course, and most of the runners doing the 48 didn't even need an aid station. So, but they didn't have any volunteers down there helping out. The first day, I think young Joe Miller was there. He came in at about 9:30, and he was working the aid station on Friday night, which was good. And they might have had someone overnight working it. I don't know. I was never there overnight.
Usually means there's good coffee if he's there.
What's that?
No, it was just the race
means
director.
there's good coffee if he's there.
Yeah.
We did have good coffee.
So basically, I mean, you had some pretty good, some pretty heavy hitters down there, running the race. Let me pull up the results. So you had Nels Matson, Matt Clapper, Loanne, Vo, Jessica Hardy. I would say me, but I wasn't really. I think I was the dud down there.
That
Here
it wasn't anything against your fitness.
No,
It
no.
was, yeah, it wasn't your capabilities.
Yeah. It was fun. I mean, we all had fun. So we basically the race went out and pretty much the leaders stayed together. Not together, but we were all
Yeah, the
the
top kept going back and
same
forth.
what's his name? Ryan Emilio from Kissimmee. He went out strong and he led the race, I think, to almost I made note in my head when I saw Loanne pass him. But he led the race at least through the 50K. And then Low passed him, and then you had Nels right behind him, past him, but he still ran strong.
Well, in his previous only ultrasound, it wasn't even on ultrasound, but its only previous race was, I don't remember what race it was a 100 miler, but he DNF'd at mile 84 and it didn't even show up. They didn't put the results on. So he had no other results on ultrasound
Yeah,
before
yeah.
this.
I thought he said that was a 24-hour and he was trying to get a 100 miler, and I talked to him about it. But basically the race played out pretty well. 50 miles through 50 miles. I think I didn't get lapped until almost 50, just over 50 miles by Loanne. I was just taking my time through the aid stations and she was blowing through. Um, and they ran well. I made it to the 100K mark right at dark, about 13 and a half hours. So I was in probably fifth place with a 13 and a half hour 100K. And Matt Clapper was right behind me. And I came in and I went to go get some. It was getting colder every loop, but it wasn't bad. And I wasn't planning on stopping. And Joe, it's not your fault, Joe Miller. He was in there he made me some ramen noodles. And I ate the ramen noodles and I felt like I was gonna get sick. And I just the noodles didn't taste right. And so then I'm like, all right. So I walked over to my car and I'm like, I'm gonna wash my feet off and go clean feet. And then I was just shaking. So I jumped in my back of my car. I slept 8 hours.
Just
That
a
was
little break.
at night. I slept for 8 hours. I woke up at 6:30, and Joe Miller was supposed to pace me through the night, and he had no clue where I went.
He pays Nels, so it's okay.
He ended up pacing Nels. So I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting there laying in my car, and I'm like, do I go back out? I gotta go for the 100 because that's an easy 100 that, to get that 100 on, because eventually I'd like to do 100 hundreds. So I'm like, that's an easy one to go get. And I'm sitting there going, but I'll only take the belt buckle if I go under 30 hours. And I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, I got 8 hours to go 40 miles. I'm like, all right, let's suit up. Joe Miller made me a cup of coffee and I walked out with my morning coffee, walked half a mile, and then I just went to work to get that. And right as I got up, Clapper had taken the lead and he came in and you had to go to the back mat, which is about a mile and a half out to get to 100. And Justin's like, all right, Matt, you're going to be the first one in 100. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm not in first place. He was like arguing. We're like, yeah, you're in first place. So he went out. I mean, Loanne was right behind him. And then Nels was right behind them. And so I went to work to go get that 100 and I ran well the second day. Got the 100 under 30 hours thanks to, again, Joe Miller. We had to push the last 9 miles. I think at like at one point we were running 9-minute miles just to get it in because I was taking my time. And then once I finished the 100, I wanted to go to 50 miles. So I want another 10 or so miles. And then I packed up my stuff and I went home.
We hung around for a minute, but
Yeah, but when you're an hour and a half from home and you're like, I could be in bed by 10:30 tonight, and I'm like, all right, let's go. So I came in only expecting to take my tent down because of the dew, and I just kept packing. And then I got to the point I'm like, well, my car's all packed. I might as well go home. So, um, but so Bobbie Joe will take it from there because she was there
yeah,
all of Saturday.
I got there Saturday around like 10:30, 11 or so. So I started helping. Um, yeah, so I was there. Nels had asked me to come down and help and pace and I just help out whoever needed help. So yeah, we got Nels, Matt, Lo, basically going back and forth for first, second, third. And Lo wasn't feeling good. She was still feeling a bit off from the cold and then her sinuses. And plus that girl's just been pushing. I mean, she hasn't stopped. But and so I went out with Nels, probably around 10 o'clock at night, did a couple loops with him, and he's just steady. He's just the same steady pace for hours and hours and hours. And like we say, so what are these guys at, like 140 miles by now, 135 miles by now? It was pretty standard going back and forth, seeing everybody, good job, good job.
Hang on. One thing I need to add. Saturday morning, we see Matt Clapper, and he has a
He's
lean
a lean, yeah. He was
while he's
holding,
running. So
yeah.
like in my head, I go, he's not
Yeah.
going to continue like that. Dude,
His body,
he
it
ran
looked-
the whole last 24 hours with a lean.
with a lean. It wasn't like extreme. And when he walked, he could stand up better. But it looked so painful. He looked like his body was so tense.
I'd never
But
seen anything like that. I
yeah,
mean,
it
usually when
was,
you see someone leaning, they're walking and they're trying to finish up the race. Dude,
he was running and it was just over. Like he was always turning a corner. That's what we said
it looked like he was leaning into the corner like a
Yeah.
little too much, man.
Yeah, so
It
he
was
looked like that when I got there. And yeah,
He's a
so
beast. No question about that.
oh, for sure. It didn't really get super exciting until really towards the end, which a 48-hour normally somebody's running away with it. So me and Nels had taken like a 20-minute nap around like 4 or 5 a.m. He had a really rough, the loops are 5K, it's a 5K loop. So he had a really rough lap, took a nap, got up, was much better. Go do another lap, come back, and now the sun's coming up. And Justin tells us we hadn't seen Clapper on the course for like 3 hours or however long it'd been. And Justin's like we had given up first place. We thought there's no way we were going to catch up to Matt. We were just trying to keep Loanne. She had first place female like down. She could have stopped 12 hours ago. But Nels wanted overall. He's like, I still want to be second overall. So we were if she went out another loop, we were going out another loop, and we were just trucking along. We were like, one more. And then we get about 90 minutes in, Justin says, you guys are 2.5 laps behind Clapper. So we're like, shit, we got to go. So we come around and we find out Matt had stopped because he thought we couldn't catch him because there was a miscommunication between, I think from what I hear, Justin said, he asked how far ahead he was, and Justin said 11. I think Matt took it as 11 laps and it was 11 miles. So Matt stopped thinking he had it. And then when he realized it was a miscommunication, because we saw him, he had sweats on and a t-shirt, and he was, just hanging out at his tent. He threw his running clothes back on or whatever, and he came out there, and all of a sudden Nell starts going faster. Now we're a lap and, 1.5 behind. And Nell starts running and I can't keep up with him. And he's got 183 miles on his feet now, or 182. And Matt did his other loop, and he decided he saw the way Nels was running, and he's like, if that's how he's going, then there's nothing I can do about it, basically. And like Jeff said, they were counting the half loops too. So once Nels caught up and Matt decided he wasn't going back out again, Nels had to get to that midway timing mat before the timer, but he only had like 10 minutes to do it. So his last miles were like sub 8-minute paces to get. So we can't see him, and nobody was keeping up with him to pay. He had another pacer come in, and that guy couldn't keep up with him either. So we're all standing around Justin's laptop waiting, like watching the timer tick down and then watching the computer to see him tick that lap. And it was great though. He did it with like 2 minutes to spare, and everybody just cheered. And even Matt, I mean, I know it's probably hard on Matt, but at the same time, I think he was still happy for him, just to put on a show like that. And because Matt was doing it for other reasons as well. I don't know if any of you guys saw, he's raising money for
Yep.
some close friend to his daughter. So he was just happy to be out there to do that. But yeah, you don't usually have a 48-hour come down to the final 2 minutes, and people just holding their breath to see what can happen. Because I mean, so there were some laps we were doing 25-minute miles, and
Yeah.
usually it was around 16, 17, 15. And then, yeah, he just found that other gear, and it was awesome.
Can't
Yeah,
even wrap my mind around a
to the-
sub 8-minute
back to
mile
the-
after 183 miles on your
Yeah.
feet. That's insane.
He had to get back to the finish line.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because the 24-hour race was pretty interesting too. They had two 24-hour races, right? Or just the one? Just the one 24-hour.
Yeah, they just had the 124.
Just the one. So that was interesting too, because they were letting, there's a lot of sub 100s, but they were letting people were coming down to the wire to get their 100, their sub 24-hour 100. So a lot of them were racing out, and they were ready to give up. And then they found out they could do that half loop to hit the 100. So Justin was telling the crew, there's a way you can drive around so they don't have to walk back.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing. Because if you look on the 24-hour real quick,
There's a couple that have half a mile on there.
yeah, well, this guy, this Gerard Sabansky, or Gerard, he's a big time Ironman guy, triathlete guy. He holds a bunch of world records. Justin had me look him up. The dude's got like 23,000 followers on Instagram.
He was pretty impressive. I watched him run, so I ran with him a lot of not ran with him, but I mean we were crossing paths a lot.
Yeah, he did 108 miles. He's got like he's going for the DECA world record coming up. So, he's already got the 5-time Ironman record, among a bunch of others. But
Austin ran well. Austin was crewed up next to me, so I was talking to his wife, and he was trying to get that 100. Then Justin Boyle ran well. I think that's his first 100 out of Punta Gorda.
yeah, Shauna, I don't know Shauna, but I saw her. She was so ready to give up. And then once Justin said, you can go out, all you got to do is hit that mat out there. And
Yeah.
little bit of life came, but yeah, no, it was a really, you wouldn't expect it to be an exciting race, and it ended up being that way. I mean, we knew those guys were going to put up a show, so
Yeah.
but to have it come
they all
out.
did. Even Ryan finished with 150 miles. Eric D. Simone did one.
Whose only goal was to beat you. So
Yeah, yeah. Eric's goal was to beat me. And Jessica Hardy was second at 117. She was running strong all day, and then she would disappear and go take a nap.
Yeah, she's the one that fell hard, right? Did you see her? Yeah, she was at the aid station hanging out at the picnic table.
Okay.
A bunch. She tripped over a root early on and went flying, but she showed me her entire upper quads thigh was just it looked like someone took a baseball bat to her. It was a mess. She had gravel under her skin that had gotten like pushed down, like not even where it was scratched, but pushed in like an inch or two. So, but yeah, that's trail running.
Ryan got there another 100.
Yeah, they took their time. They did it the Melanie and Ryan style.
In the 12-hour, you got Byron Lane out of New York. He won it in 47 with 47 miles. The female winner was Rebecca McAney out of Lithia with 35 miles. Yeah, 6 hours.
Byron Lane, I know that name. You know that name.
Who's that?
Byron Lane. He's done well. If you go on his ultra sign up, he's
Out of Stony Brook?
he's an old schooler. 50K road championship, 50K national. Yeah, I think he used to be somebody. I mean, he's got what is this? He's older now, older now, but I think back in the day he was somebody. Yeah.
Back
We're
in
talking
the
like
day.
2012, 2011. What has he got? Like 200 things
That
on
was
ultra
me
sign
back
up.
in the day. I was somebody.
I mean, we're talking like he's got some good results if you go all the way back to like the 90s. It's like I know I've probably seen him at some of these other loop races because a lot of times, I mean, the people who do these, they just keep coming because you can't DNF. I mean, you're not.
I didn't even know ultra marathons were a thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, they've been going on since the 1800s. So.
I know. I just meant I did it.
Let me introduce you to
Yeah.
Davy Crockett.
That's a great
No.
that's a great segue into my upcoming podcast. I've got an interview with Davy Crockett, the historian, coming up probably about Sunday or Monday. And he told me that back in the day, like in the late 1800s, the ultra runners made more money than they do today.
Oh yeah, it was one of the top for athletes.
elite
That's how you made money.
Yeah.
You weren't playing team
They were
sports.
like the top ones were millionaires.
Really?
Well, he said like the
yeah,
top guy,
extrapolating, yeah.
it was the equivalent to a millionaire. Like
Yeah.
the amount this one guy in particular he named was the equivalent to $3 million today. And so that might have been $100 back
Bring
then.
that money back. So,
No, they,
I used to raise that at Madison Square Garden.
A couple other races. I don't know if anybody else is following any other races. The Mesquite Canyon 50K out in Arizona. Anybody? Jim Walsley made the return. The great video on YouTube.
340 or something like that.
Yeah, 20-minute course record. Just totally kicked butt. So
Crazy. Brent, and also Jake Jackson won the 50 miler there, former guest to the podcast.
Nice job.
Fellow Squirrels Nut Butter guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are great. That course looks, I would like to go out and do that course. That course looks pretty. They did a course preview of it. And it looks like a really neat course out there. So yeah, Jim Walsley won. Eric LaPluma was second. Alyssa McDonald won it, and was it Andrea Pomeranski was second, and then Jake Jackson and Tanya Keys took the 50 miler wins. So that's pretty impressive there. So it's good to see him out. I think Courtney ran a marathon this weekend. Must have been I don't know if it was a trail marathon because it was the time was 3:30. So I don't know if that was trail or if that was a road marathon. I forget where I found the information for that. So these guys are all gearing up for Western States. So it's gonna be it'll be a fun.
Get fast like David Roach.
What's that? Yeah, that was you sent me the parody video. I'm like, right as I was about to go online, I'm like, I can't watch this right now. It was pretty.
Well, you have it. It's freaking hilarious. It's if you've watched the other videos or even the first one, it's so funny. The guy did a great job, and I saw it because he shared it on his Instagram story.
Roach shared it.
Yeah, David Roach shared it.
Nice. He was feeling on breast milk. All right, so upcoming races this weekend we got Two Prairies. up in I believe that's in the Ocala National Forest with
Yes.
Joe Miller. He was in the chat. Both Joe Millers were in the chat. Aid Station Coffee and Joe Miller. They look like they have a pretty good entrant list. Guess who's on the entry list for this weekend? I'll let you all
Luke
guess.
Vidal.
Oh, Luke Vidal. Can you guess another one?
Arian Roshan.
He's on there too.
But
I
their
had to
coach,
look up
he's not.
this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I
What
said
was
their
that?
coach is not with them.
Oh no, Scott's there
Oh,
too.
Yeah, Scott's up there too.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
had to look up the second guy in the list, Nestor Calixo. I don't know who he is, but
Like
he's from
Davenport?
Davenport. I'm like, dude, someone's from. So I had to look up
Neighbor.
where he runs.
Yeah,
He's
you
on
got,
his
you got
Strava, just like, oh yeah, okay. So he's like right around the corner.
yeah.
Go
You
down
got
to Lake Louisa.
Yeah, you got Craig Betts is going out. He's running out there. Joe Miller. I'm like, why isn't Joseph Fuller on there? And he's in the shorter race.
Yeah.
So they got a 50K and a 30K. 30K, you got Joseph Fuller. Trying to think who else is on there. Trying to recognize people. Amy Matthews. Amy Matthews.
Oh, nice.
She's on.
I know. Well, Emily Quintanilla,
Nicole's on there. I think.
Emily Quesadilla.
Emily Quesadilla.
Yeah.
Thought she was getting ready to have surgery or something.
Well, she's on the list.
Mhm.
I think
She'll
I think
bunny hop. She's gonna
I
bunny
think
hop.
Luke said he's just going to take care of Nicole this weekend. I don't think he's running.
Yeah, I think it sounded like he was trying to recover, so
Yeah.
he's got to pay the favor.
Yeah.
So, and young Joe Miller said that he was told by Scott that he had to beat him. So, so that's good. So we'll get to wrap up that race next week. Good luck out there. 2
There
weeks.
are,
Hungerland, we'll talk about that next week. Bobbie Joe, you got a race coming up?
I am racing the Picnic Island Ultra in Jupiter. So
That's Saturday, right? Next
Sunday.
Saturday? This
Sunday.
Sunday.
It's this Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday.
So yeah, so my pacing duties was a nice little final training run. Yeah, Mike Melton took that race over. So if anybody has any, I don't know the story. I keep forgetting to ask. I guess there was something wrong with it before, so Mike took it over. So anybody who didn't want it, and there's like barely it's a 10-hour, a 6-hour, and a half marathon. There's 10 people signed up for the 10-hour. So, and there's only one male. So if anybody's looking for like a podium spot, come
Too
join
far
us.
of a drive. I've driven to the East Coast too many times last year.
Right.
Well, I'm right
That's
in the middle,
500
so it's
miles
like the
for
same.
me.
Like me going down to Inglewood is the same as going down to Jupiter. So, or even, yeah, like at long haul's only 45 minutes away. That's the perfect one. But
Yeah.
there's only 15 in the 6-hour, but there's 21 in the half marathon. So, and Shay Merritt will be joining me for the 10-hour. And the only other name I know is this Carrie Klein. I don't know her. But she's on a vegan athlete thing, so that's how I know.
You don't know, and you don't know her?
I don't know her. I just know she's part of this. And we don't all know each other.
You don't? Oh, you don't? You don't have a group chat?
Well, I am shocked that Katie Jenkins is not in it because I know she lives down there at Stewart, so she's still in the chat.
Yeah.
She races practically every weekend.
Yeah.
Well, come join us.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, so it's a 3.3 mile loop, I believe. I think it's the same like sand, gravel, that sort of thing. 1 aid station. It's supposed to be warm. Like I have some goals, but I don't know how those goals are gonna go when it's 85 degrees and we haven't quite trained in that yet. So we'll see.
yeah. And
We'll see what happens.
we forgot to mention Tyler Smith is also he's in the he's running 2 prairies. So
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
where everybody's gonna
I'm
be.
shooting for a top 5, and I think he's got it. I think he runs a smart race. I think he will do well out there. So we always look forward to seeing Tyler's results out there. So
There is a race up in Georgia I want to do that's this weekend. It's called 1 Mile at a Time, and it's the same people that are doing Bootlegger. It's Revolution Running. So it's a backyard, but you do 1 mile every or 1.1 every 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've never had a female hit 100.
really,
So I was really tempted to do that one. Um, but I didn't. So I was worried about the weather, right? I was worried it was going to be cold, and then I checked the weather, and it's going to be perfect.
Well, it's supposed to be tornadoes here Saturday night.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not
yeah,
perfect,
you're
but
supposed to get some nasty.
What's that come out to? Like a 25 something hour?
What a
100?
4 minute pace.
Well, it's
Well, it'd be-
1.1 mile. Though.
it's
If you
one
shoot
point.
for
Oh, it's
4 hours.
1.05. I'm sorry. So because it
Oh.
works out to the 100.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's,
okay.
yeah, 1.05. So it
24.
works out to 100 for 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what they do, I believe, is once you get to 24 hours, it's the next loop is an all out, all for nothing
Right.
mile.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah, so they've only done that once where 2 people have gotten, but it's usually it's only been going on a couple years, and it's usually a pretty small field. It gets a little bigger each year. So, but if anyone wants to put that on their radar, so it's good race directors, good company.
You
It's
said
just a
that's
little
this
loop.
weekend?
It's this weekend.
I'm a bachelor this weekend. I might have to
Well,
make
there
it
you
to that
go.
trip.
There you go. Griffin,
There you go.
Georgia.
I am too, Chris. Come on up here. We'll throw a party.
Oh man,
Yeah. Well,
find
there
somebody
you
to
go,
watch my
guys.
dogs. I'll come.
Chris, we're running San Antonio on Saturday if you want to come join us.
What are you running out there?
Our Boston Marathon group is running out there, so I'm gonna go out there and film.
I don't have that much speed, Jeff.
I don't either. That's why I'm going out there to film them.
I was going to go to Croom and just practice using my poles because I got to train for Cherokee, and I've never actually like fully extended my trekking poles.
I'll tell you my story.
So I've got
later on.
next week is when Southern States 200 starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
So,
Wednesday.
so I'll
Southern
be up
States starts.
there next Thursday night. I'll have to check in from the woods.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That's next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's
So
Dusty got
Wednesday
next? Oh, we already talked about
Okay, Fear.
Yeah.
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear.
Yep. All right, so I got some ultra topics, non-race stuff that we can brush through. I'm gonna bring up some pictures. Hang on. Well, first of all, I don't have a picture for. We talked about it, the 3, me, Marty, and Bobbie Joe. Riley Brady signed with Nike Trail.
We can be happy for them, but
I'm happy for Riley
disappointed.
Brady. I'm not happy for that she signed. I thought it was kind of ironic that she signed with Nike. I think Nike is trying to change their face of.
It's gonna take time. I mean, I don't know. I'm not changing my mind on them.
Yeah, if you watch the Super Bowl, every one of their Super Bowl commercials was all about women in sports. And
I think it's just a way to bury the news, right? That's just.
I guess we'll know for sure after the next Olympic kit comes out, right?
What I worry about with Riley Brady is I don't think those shoes. So she ran her last 2 races in the Vaporflies. So she ran Black Canyon and Javelina in those shoes. So I don't think they make a good trail shoe. And I still say, what's her name? All her feet problems come from the Nike.
Sally
McRae. I say all her feet problems come from.
She only had foot problems for those 200s, though. She never had it before, but yeah, it could have been trying different shoes that Nike's trying to put out.
Yeah.
But she also had never done 200s, and I mean, she blamed the socks, her words. But yeah, who knows?
No, it's
But
definitely.
You can bring Greg Lawson on. He'll fight you about those Nike trail shoes now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. They could literally make me fly, and I would not put a pair of their shoes on. So
Yeah.
I will die on that hill.
And
I
my kids,
actually wanted to
I actually
try.
have a pair. I have a pair of Ultra Flies that they're not terrible.
no,
Is
I'm
it-
not saying there's an issue with the shoe.
No, it's the company.
Yeah, the ethics.
Just
Mar-
read Kara Goucher's book. Read Laura Fleischman's book. You know, there's
Yeah.
that other little girl. They destroyed her. I mean, anything about the Nike Oregon project. I mean, if as a female, I can't get past that stuff. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
And then
good.
there's the-
So we're happy. Right, someone picked up Riley Brady. She
Yes.
definitely deserved a contract. Just it would have been nice if it wasn't Nike.
They wrong pronoun, bro.
Yeah, sorry. What's next? Congratulations to Nick Urena. He climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Look at him. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Love that guy.
Look at that.
I bet he
know.
had never been that cold, but well, he was a Coast Guard guy, so he's probably been that cold before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then here's the group at the top. So I didn't realize he said it was over about 19 and a half thousand feet of climbing. So I think he said it took it was a 6-day trip, took 4 days of climbing up there. So congrats to Nick for getting that done. What else do I have? What's this one? Oh.
It's
I wasn't a while
self-promotion.
pulling up. So this was funny. This podcast dropped today, and I'm on it. It's from when I ran high school cross country, and over the summer, this guy reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, do you remember?" He goes, "You ran for Dunedin." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Did you run in '94?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do you remember a race out at Taylor Park?" I go, "Was there a fist fight in it?" He's like, "Yep, that one." So they interviewed me for it because I witnessed the whole thing, so it was pretty cool. So the podcast is called "All the Miles Matter," a quiet day there at Taylor Park. Which is pretty cool. So it kind of talked about, I'm at the very end of it, which is cool. Oh, is this the one? Oh yeah, this one, Craig. I don't know. Did anybody get this in their Facebook feed? Chris Stangle, you're gonna love this one. So
What is that for?
can you imagine you'll save $400? So you imagine what the cost of that race is?
No.
Oh, just take a
For a
guess.
100-mile challenge?
100-mile challenge. Guess
Well,
how
this
many
is like
hours-
one of those like 5-day things, right?
Oh,
Where you
come
basically
on.
like walk and camp,
Yeah, like,
walk and
oh.
camp. And
And they set up camp for you or put you up in an Airbnb every
was
night?
it $2,000?
$2,000 over $2,000.
Yeah.
Is that what it
60 hours.
is? Is it like a stage race?
No.
It's 100 miles at the time?
Yeah, it's a loop course.
A loop course? What the hell are you
A
paying
loop
for?
course. I think it's like well, they have several. So the one I looked at was a loop course. 60 hours. You get a belt buckle if you finish in 60 hours.
Yeah, it says 4-night endurance challenge.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I pulled up. So they have there's 4 co-founders. 3 do not have an ultra sign up, and one of them has a 100-mile finish.
Oh, they got Ashley Paulson on their photo though. So she's
60
Probably
Run
trying to
their own
pull people-
race, then they'll get a
Oh my
buckle.
Come on. What else do
that's
we have?
crazy.
I
Coming
give
up.
buckles away for under $100.
No.
Coming up, preview run March 22nd at the Ross Prairie Trailhead. That should be good with Skunk Ape Events. That's a preview run of the 100-mile endurance race. I may go out there and cook breakfast. That I believe we found out that falls like the day between me and Joe Miller's birthday. See, I'm the 21st. I think he's the 23rd. So
Oh, nice.
falls on the 22nd. So that's out there. What else do we have? Anybody know what this is?
Aid station.
Nice. The relay race?
I guess it does look like a relay race.
Dude's running. Oh, speaking of relay races, did you see the news on that? I don't have it on me. It was just, it popped up in my feed, but one of those, I want to say college or amateur indoor track. One of the women threw her baton and hit the head of another competitor.
It was high school.
Was it high
She
school?
didn't throw it. She
She
hit
She
her.
whacked
hit her
her
with it.
with it. She
Bro.
gave the girl a concussion and everything.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's high school.
Jeez.
why? Because she lost?
Passed her.
No, they were running. It was mid-run.
She passed her on the curve, and there was probably some contact, but she pulled back and whacked her. And she's trying to claim that it wasn't intentional, but
Yeah, there's
It was
yeah.
intentional. I saw
only
the video.
she
That was
knows. But the
wild.
video it says otherwise for sure.
Yeah.
But
All right,
yeah,
so I
so
want to see. This is my edition of the Lego aid station. So our challenge is see if anybody can make a better one.
I
And
gotta borrow your Legos, Jeff.
you don't have any Legos at your house?
I know where you can get some
Oh.
Legos.
I know where you can get it's Lego, not Legos. Just let's
Oh,
correct
okay,
people.
Lego.
Oh, really?
Is that
Uh,
plural?
Yes,
Well, I was-
Lego is plural for there's no Legos.
Oh,
I
'Cause
was
technically
today
it's-
years old when I
Wrong
learned
life.
that.
We're waiting for Bobbie Joe to come up with the ultimate.
The ultimate. I'm
one.
gonna build like a whole out of like a 6 by 4 foot table. I'll build a whole race. But yeah, I'll put something together for you. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's see people in the chat put together your Lego or cardboard diorama of an aid station, just like back in high school.
So, and then thank you for Aid Station Coffee. We're gonna do a giveaway. So if you're in the chat, put your name down there, and I think I got some people's names. So put your name in there so I know who we have in there, and we'll do a drawing in a second for Aid Station Coffee. I got Nicole on there, Katie, Joe Miller, James, and Tyler. Is anybody else I'm missing in there? Just put your name in. So Joe's been doing a really good job at hitting the races and then just providing coffee, which is pretty badass. So
And then go support his Etsy shop.
yep,
Share, follow him on social.
yep.
There's a lot of coffee roasters out there, but his coffee is actually really legit.
It
I
was
drink
really
way more
good.
than my fair share
Oh,
at
yeah.
Long Play.
I think we hit the cold brew. I had the
Yeah.
cold brew. I had the warm cup of coffee out there. It was really good. So, and I bought a bag from him while I was out there.
I went to put some cold water in my coffee to cool it down so I could drink it. He's like, "No, what are you doing? That's good coffee." He's like, "Put cold brew in there. There's an art to this."
And he has new coffee coming out soon. I think he's working on the name on what it's going to be. So cool deal. Really quick, Chris, what do you got? What races as race director do you have coming up?
Yeah, we're kind of shifting gears and getting into director mode now. So we had the big deal at Great Seal May 3rd, whatever the first Saturday in May is in Ohio. And then we have Mataqua 24 hour the first weekend of June 7th. So that's my primary focus right now.
And then you just dropped some big news, right?
What's that? Oh,
Something
we're open. We just started we're planning a new event in Mississippi. One of my clients, Tony Lowe. I don't know if you've met Tony yet. He's become a great friend of mine. He owns some property in Mississippi, and he's manually building trails. He's a heavy machine operator, and his cousin is as well. So they have some property that has some mature trails on it, and then he's building some of his own trails. So he had big ambitions for it, but I wanted to obviously go up there and check it out before we committed to anything. And he wanted to put together a pretty big loop. But once I got up there and saw how much work he has cut out for him, we're limiting it to a 5-mile loop race. But it's going to be really, really cool because we're going to get roughly 2.5 in the mature trails and like the pine straw and the pine forest, and then the other half's going to be like a little rougher, fresh cut trails. So we called it Jekyll and Hyde, and we're going to do kind of a day-night version. Start it at noon and run it for 12 hours. So It's gonna be a fun event. And it's on private property, so we're gonna keep it small, keep it quaint. It's gonna kind of reflect our fall race in Ohio that we do in October. Rule to Roost it's similar format, 12-hour race on a 5-mile loop where we do solo or we do a 2-man relay. So we're gonna do the same thing in Mississippi. So we're really excited about it.
Well, I was curious. I was curious who you knew up there because it said on private property. So I'm like, oh, who's?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a stretch for me because everybody on this call knows, but I still work full time at the hospital, and we already have 6 events that we host. So I had zero intentions of adding more, but Tony brought it up, and it's like the rest of my business. I let everything kind of happen organically. We don't push anything. We don't really market anything other than getting people to the races. But man, when something falls in your lap like that, you just take advantage of it and pray for the best,
Yeah, you don't have to worry about permitting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no permits. I mean, we throw together, get a $300 insurance and lots of travel expenses, though. That's what it comes down to.
Cool deal. Marty, what do you got? You have you have a podcast dropping this week?
I got one that may drop tonight if I can stay up late enough, and not tomorrow, with Kendra Wilson, who, if anybody's on the Bad Ultrarunner Advice page, she goes by Kendra Renee. So she's a very funny young lady. And when I talked to her, I was expecting it to be a barrel of laughs, but it's actually very serious. She went through a lot of health problems in her early years. She's probably in her 30s, mid 30s, but she's battled Lyme disease and thyroid cancer and several different things that really had her like sleeping, bedridden basically. And she found a way to battle out of it and completed her first 100-miler this year. She's got a great story.
Isn't it
And then I've
amazing
got
the stories we hear?
Yeah. Yeah, I
This
had no
sport is-
idea I had no idea I was in store for it. I just sit there baffled listening to her. Because I thought I was going to be getting a bunch of jokes from her, and I got no jokes hardly.
No.
And then I had a really good chat with Davy Crockett after that. That'll be coming out a few days later about the history of ultra running and also his history. He's completed over 100 milers.
Yeah, he never talks about his own stuff, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Did you guys? You don't have to say anything, but did you guys talk about Kelly Agnew?
We did. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
You'll hear his part. He tells it a little different. He tells it a little different than Mike told it. Not different facts, but from a different standpoint. He takes credit for busting him.
Because he goes back farther with it. Like he had assumed Kelly had been he suspected Kelly had been cheating for a long time. So I think he was happy when it came to light. But he's disappointed that he lost out on a lot of placements because of the cheating of Kelly Agnew. So
he told in particular, I forgot what race it was he was talking about, but one race in particular, Kelly kept him off the podium, or maybe off of first place, and because he's got a few 100-mile wins, and they went back and retroactively awarded him with the win in one of the races that. After the fact, when they found out that he was a cheater.
So Marty, I got a project because we have the video of Mike Melton telling the story. Now you have Davy Crockett telling the story. We need to put them together.
We need to edit that. We just splice that together.
There's a project for you. So
there's our Pacer Travel first film.
That sounds like a Bobbie Joe project. She's the video editor.
Yeah, no one wants to watch the OJ crap that they're putting out there. We're going with the Kelly Agnew.
Right.
All right. We're gonna do the drawing. Joe Miller wants to know, what do we think of for the coffee name 5K Ultra? A thumbs up or down? What do you think? You like
it's funny.
You like?
Marty doesn't like it. I like the sarcasm.
All right, here we go. Who's gonna win?
Sounds short and disappointing.
What's
I
that?
call it like
That
sub
sounds short
24
and
or
disappointing.
something.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we can come up with something really good on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Is
I
it-
was on the spot and I couldn't.
We need more facts. Like, is it a dark roast? Is
Yeah.
it extra strong? Or
Yeah, describe the
Sweet.
coffee to us and we'll see how it makes us feel.
All right. So the winner is. You guys ready?
Yes.
Can you read it?
No.
No.
Joe Miller?
Oh, Joe Miller.
Papa Joe.
Papa Joe. So,
Dang it.
all
Is my
right.
name in there? I
I
wasn't.
don't
Yeah,
know.
does our names do our names get in there? Are we eligible for prizes?
We
I
should.
watch
start
this
it. I
stream
didn't think
every
about
week.
that. Next week we're putting our names in there. So, he said it's from India. So, Raj.
India.
I can't be
Raj.
Raj.
just watch The Big
Hoka,
Bang Theory.
Raj.
The great,
No, what's
the
it?
great shoe controversy.
The Great Shoe Controversy. Yeah. Isn't Raj from India?
Yeah,
The Hoka.
Rajesh. Oh, Nick. He is from India. Raj Panu.
Yeah.
What are
Right-
those shoes called? The
right here.
Rocket X? Is that what they are? The Rocket Carbon Rocket
Carbon
or Cielos?
Carbon Rocket Brew.
There we go. The Rocket Brew.
Rocket Brew. There.
Taste is mythical.
Raj
What does
Rocket,
that mean?
Raj
What
Rocket Brew. No, we might be getting racist here.
I'm usually good with names. I'm on Victoria's Badwater team this year, and so they got a group chat trying to come up with a team name, and I came up with Victoria's Secrets.
Did they like it?
Yeah, everybody liked it, but one, and then they
Victoria.
came up with. No, she liked it. It was one other lady. I think it is Pam. Pam, the lady with the 24-hour team. I forgot
Yeah.
her last name. Is it Smith?
Is it
Pam Smith?
Yeah,
She's on
I
Smith,
think
yeah.
that's her name. She's on the crew too, and she came up with another name, and then Mandy, who's going to be there.
Mandy Holmes.
She used AI to come up with names, and so now
Of
we
course
got
she
like
did.
30 suggestions.
Modern problems, modern solutions.
Well, thank you guys for all jumping on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris and Dusty.
For sure. I got to give one shout out if I can.
Yeah.
Dusty Taylor, what kind of championed. We're doing a donation collection for Gaither High School. They haven't had a home track meet for several years because they don't have equipment and they don't have the funding for it. So Evie and I decided to start raising funds to buy them hurdles, which, as we all know, 80 hurdles is not a small expense. So Dusty was kind of the first one to put down a substantial amount and lay down the gauntlet. And it's really kind of pioneered everybody jumping in and contributing to that. So we're over halfway there. So we really appreciate your help, Dusty, and
Absolutely.
sharing the knowledge out there.
Chris, send me the link and we'll put it in the show notes.
Cool. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Thanks,
No, that's
Chris.
awesome. So, good deal. All right. Well, thank you guys. We're gonna sign off on the live stream and figure out how to do that.